Hey guys, the left and the media are losing their minds over the Joe Biden debacle since the debate. Between the party apparatchiks and high-ranking leaders and their sycophants, stenographers, and the fake news media, it's been glorious to watch the meltdowns. But no one does a meltdown rant quite like the race lady on MSNBC, Joy Reid, the most misnamed woman on television. And you won't believe some of the garbage that she has to say about Trump, white people, and Christians. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So the best thing about these childish fake news people is that you can always tell the temperature of the lefties in the room by how they behave on the air. They act like the world is falling apart because Trump is more than likely going to demolish old Dementia Joe in November. And it looks like the Republicans are going to take the Senate, and we may even keep the House. But that's not talk about a red wave, guys. There is not going to be a red wave. You have to vote to win. We win nothing unless you get out and vote early. So Joy Reid went on another rant against Trump and white people. No shock there. She is the race lady on MSNBC after all. But listen to the crazy that's coming out of her mouth. Give it a watch.
Let's not be trying to play games with these kinds of small things to try to pull us into a direction. All that matters in this election, and I genuinely mean this, all that matters in this election, the only thing that matters in this election is keeping Donald Trump and Project 2025 out of power.
See, I did a video last week on Project 2025, and Donald Trump has nothing to do with it, but this crazy lady on MSNBC keeps trying to link Trump with Project 2025. He has a thing called Agenda 47, not Project 2025. Project 2025 was done by the Heritage Foundation, and there's more than 100 conservative groups that are a part of it, that are working with it. Trump came out and gave a statement that said that it's not his thing, he has nothing to do with it. But yet she's going to continue to link him with it.
Keeping that in
and that's not that there's anything wrong with Project 2025.
Insane ideology of white Christian nationalism and white supremacy and white male Christian dominance out of power.
Can you imagine if someone went on the air and talked about black people that way? They wouldn't survive. But Joy still has a job.
That's all that matters. I genuinely don't care who the Democratic nominee is. And I'm being real.
Isn't this?
I don't care. If it's Biden, fine. If it's Kamala Harris, fabulous, right? But it's going to be one of the two of them. Let's just not play crazy games now. There are rules the way that this process works. It's one of the two of them. Either one, I don't care. Or if you want to parachute somebody else in and they not him, they not the orange one, they not the one who quotes Hitler, fine.
He didn't quote Hitler. Oh my God.
Put him in, I don't care. Because all that matters, I'm going to say this to y'all again, all that matters in this upcoming election is that you keep that man and that Project 2025 plan out of power. That's all you need to understand. Guys,
if you read Project 2025, all it is recognizing that over probably the last 80 to 100 years, the Democrats have destroyed our country, how the Supreme Court, under liberal justices of a majority, have done so much damage to our country. And now we have a Supreme Court that is trying to turn us back to the constitutional path. And leftists like Joy Reid can't stand that. They think that's dangerous. They think it's awful that we are trying to get back on the constitutional path. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. With all the garbage that's going on that people like Joy promote in this world today, in this country today, with all the garbage that has us where we are, all right? I mean, we live in a horrific society right now. All that could be turned around pretty quickly if we went back on the constitutional path. This is why Chevron decision was so important last week when SCOTUS came out with it, because Chevron was one of the main reasons why the government just went out of control, became a leviathan, because the Congress got lazy and said, we don't want to have to write all the details of everything that these bureaucratic departments in the executive branch can do. We'll let them write their own rules. And that was a huge mistake. And so Project 2025, which has absolutely nothing to do with Trump, is trying to get the country back on the path when everybody thrived.
And to do that, You are going to need to vote against the party that has embraced white Christian nationalism.
White Christian nationalism. You know what white Christian nationalism is? It is saying that they recognize that Christianity, that we were a Judeo-Christian country from the beginning, and that Christianity was the main religion in the United States, and it is even today, and that things went really well for the United States when it was like that. They're not saying they want to have a theocracy. They're not saying that they want religion embedded in with our government. They're saying that America was all powerful and was respected around the world in the days where Christianity wasn't bashed by people like Joy Reid. The word nationalist gives connotations of Hitler, because they said that they were national. Well, they were national socialists, but the libtards always get it wrong and say that they were nationalists. They were not. They were national socialists is what they were. But let's give her some more space to make a fool of herself.
The Republican Party is gone. It has been replaced by Project 2025 and MAGA and Trump. That's all that's left. That party is gone. And
Really?
that means you have to vote against that letter, R, all the way down the ballot. You have
Well, most people aren't going to, because they remember that when Trump had that letter R next to his name in the White House, that our country and the world was a much better and safer place. He gave us no wars. He had hardly any inflation. Everybody was working who wanted a job. And Joy Reid can't handle that because of mean tweets. She can't handle it. She's going bonkers right now.
to keep them out of power at the state level, keep them out of power at the federal level, or remove them from power at the
How?
state and federal level. That means anything with the R on it is toxic. Anything with the R on it is going to take your birth control. Anything with the R on it is
Nobody said anything about taking your birth control.
going to make you register and take the military preparatory test.
Guys, anybody my age knows that men had to sign up for selective service from the day they turned 18 on. And you can get in trouble if you didn't do it. I had to sign up for it. I didn't like it, but I had to. The government made me do it. And I don't think it's the Republicans that are trying to bring up this selective service for women. I think it was the Democrats. Because if you remember Charles Rangel, a Democrat, remember him in the House? He did the Ways and Means Committee for a while. He was the one that said he wanted to reinstitute a draft. And then suddenly the Democrats morphed that into the Republicans want to draft your children. I mean, that's the way they work. So now Joy is trying to say that it is the Republicans who are trying to make our wives, mothers, daughters, nieces, that make them sign up for combat. That's what she's saying right here, and it's a lie.
In high school, so that you're ready to be cannon fodder for them, to be deployed on the streets of the United States to shoot Americans who are protesting.
Trump never said that he wanted troops to shoot protesters in the streets. He was talking about Chicago. Chicago has been a war zone for the last 30 years. Over the 4th of July weekend, there were over 80 people who were shot. I think 17 of them were murdered. And what Trump said was, look, the Democrats don't know what to do about it, but if we bring the feds in or the National Guard, we'll clean that place up in a week. Now, wouldn't you like the fact that black people are not going to be murdered anymore in the city of Chicago? Apparently, Joy thinks that means that Trump wants people to shoot protesters. Look, Donald Trump, as I said, did not get us into a single war. In fact, he tried to get us out of wars, and Joe Biden screwed it up, the Afghanistan thing. Fact of the matter is that it's Joe Biden who got us into a war in Ukraine. It's Joe Biden that has the entire world laughing at us. But she won't ever admit that. She'll continue to vote for Joe. She thinks that Joe is a better choice than Trump. Well, I'm sorry. You know, there's just too many people who are Democrats that are finally seeing the light. And they're saying, no, Joe doesn't have it. Joe really screwed us. Trump never did. I'll take his mean tweets along with his prosperity over the Democrats any day, which is why Joy is losing it.
They're going to take away your education. They're going to take away your
How are they going to take away your education? How is that going to happen?
opportunity to go to college. They're going to take
How are they going to take away your opportunity to go to college? Everybody has an opportunity to go to college. And then you're going to have jackass presidents like Joe Biden who's going to take away your loans for college.
Away your books, your history.
What? Take away our history? Why would anyone want to take away our history? It was the communists who tried to, who Joy Reid and the others in the fake news industry supported, who tried to take away our history. What was the toppling of all those statues in the St. George Floyd riots in 2020? That was to get rid of our history. You know, that's what the Marxists always do. They topple the statues first, then they go after the art inside museums and whatnot. And it's because they want to get rid of the history. Then they start writing their own books to rewrite our history, race baiting that they tried to do with the critical race theory. And then they brought in the transgender movement to try to take away human sexuality and replace it with that. I mean, she's complaining about things that her own people do.
They're going to take away your right to even know the history of this country.
Nobody in power on the right wants to take away our history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. No one has ever said that. You guys have. You guys do.
They're going to replace it with so-called patriotic education.
What's wrong with patriotic education? We used to have patriotic education years ago, and that's when we had a lot more patriots in society.
They're going to get rid of the Department of Education, meaning no more Pell Grants.
Look, I don't see how you can't do Pell Grants at the state level. The Department of Education was created by that Democratic Party prank known as President Jimmy Carter, and it was a payback to the teachers' unions that gave him so much money to help him get elected. Okay, so he put the unions in control of our school system. I never believed that a federal one-size-fits-all for education was the right thing. You can't teach kids in California the same thing that teaching kids in Louisiana or in New York or in Chicago or in Detroit. I mean, the states should always have been behind their own education. There shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all centralized government.
No more money for school, no more student loans, no more equality for girls' sports, all of it
Equality
gone.
for girls' sports. Holy cow. You guys are the ones that are putting men inside women's sports. Well, what are you talking about? How would there be no more loans? What, are the banks going to go out of business? They're not going to be able to loan money for going to school anymore? Are you kidding me? Joy, you're a liar. I mean, think about that, guy. She just lied her ass off talking about there's going to be no more support for women's sports. It's like the Democrats and the lefties have been trying to destroy and diminish women in this country with their whole trans movement.
Replaced with this white Christian nationalist insanity. And they
How is it insanity? She probably doesn't even know what it is. She just heard the term and thinks that it's evil because the word white's in there and the word Christian is in there and the word nationalist is in there.
want to do that not just federal, but state. The Republican Party at the state level is just as bad or worse. Baby.
And the worst Republican at the state or local level or federal level is better than the best Democrat elected today.
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, nothing else matters. Okay.
That's right. Nothing else matters. This country will not survive if Joe Biden wins re-election. I'm surprised that we're still standing right now with everything that this regime has done. I do not believe we survive another 4 years under that regime, whether Joe lasts another year or not, and Kamala comes up. Kamala's even worse because she's ideological.
Okay. Nothing else matters but stopping Trump, the Republican Party.
Good luck with that, lady.
And Project 2025 in November. You have 119 days.
She isn't even talking about Agenda 47. That is Trump's program, and that's even a good program as well. She keeps pushing this Project 2025 that has absolutely nothing to do. You would think with Trump, you would think that she has people at MSNBC who do research that could say, you got to stop saying in your video rants that Trump has something to do with Project 2025. He does not. He has nothing to do with it.
To get right with that, and get comfortable with that. That's all that matters. Okay.
So there you go. The queen of crazy at MSNBC has laid down the law that the only thing that matters is keeping Trump out of the White House and Project 2025, which technically has absolutely nothing to do with Donald Trump. She insulted white people, she insulted Christians, and pretty much she insulted the voters. People like Joy Reid can't stand when it's understood that you live in America, it means you have the right to vote for who you want to represent you. And with all the lies that she and her cohorts at that network have told about Trump over the years, she can't stand that people have awakened from that and they're seeing the light. She can't stand that her rants are no longer working. And that's a good thing for all of America. All right, thank you for watching this video. Click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to keep up to date with what the crazies at cable news are up to. See you in the next one.
We gotta find a way to make it stay the same. Oh, with no fans of change, take it all.